Yo, 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 yo. What's the deal? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast, featuring your good brothers here, my good brother M.Dot, your boy Chris Porter. How you feeling, good brother?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, bro. Just, taking it day by day, doing what I got to do, working and, doing what I got to do. But I will say I am very upset about the nut-ass Cowboys. I will say that wholeheartedly. Like, I got a smile on my face now, but them dudes,
They got
trash.
you having a bad week?
Trash. What, bro? Trash. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do, bro. But trash city. I don't even. It's not even a question. You're telling me. Well, I don't want to get into it. Let me not rant and rave right now.
I was gonna let you go, but once you start going, just know I'm entitled to a follow up at that point.
I get you. All right. So, all right. Like Chris said, welcome guys. Who Asked Y'all To podcast. So we're gonna dive in as we usually do. We're gonna talk about a couple current events as well. We're gonna talk about you want to cover the Drake album, right? You want to cover that?
We can touch on it real quick. I don't need too much time on it. I'm just got a couple things that I'm curious about and curious whether or not you feel me on it or not.
I got you, bro. I got you. So we're gonna cover the Drake's new album. We're gonna cover majority of his career and how it is now and compared to when he came out. We're gonna cover week 4, winners and losers. We're gonna talk about the Cowboys. We're gonna talk about the Patriots. We're gonna talk about Bill Belichick.
I will say, depending on how much time you need on the Cowboys, I could chalk Drake if we need a deep dive on the Cowboys.
Okay. All right, we'll see how it goes. Okay. And then we're also going to talk about a current event. We're going to talk about the Israel and the Palestine, the attack that just occurred in Palestine, and Israel. We're going to talk about that. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's talk about let's talk about the Cowboys first.
Let's get into week 5.
All right, so Cowboys went up against the 49ers. They lost 42-10.
42-10.
The week before, the Cowboys beat the Patriots 38-3.
Correct.
They were on the up and up, and then the week before they lost to the Cardinals 28-17, I believe. They lost by 18 or 19 points. It wasn't very
competitive. It wasn't very competitive.
Yeah, it was to a team that doesn't really have that much talent and was really not on a up and up, right? So let's talk about the Cowboys going against the 49ers. Now, everybody knows every year the Cowboys are always hyped up to the extraordinary hype that they are. It's because in the 1990s, Jerry Jones coined the term America's team, right? That was something he coined, him and his coach Jimmy Johnson. They coined that term America's team because of the successful run they had in the 90s. They got coined the term America's team. Now, every year since, and I'm a Cowboys fan, tried and true. Every year since, it's always, the Cowboys are this, the Cowboys are that, the blah blah blah. And even it's been crazier these last 10 years because the Cowboys teams have been pretty decent in comparison to like the early 2000s. So I'm like Skip Battles. I got to go through the historical aspect of it. I have to talk about the history, right? So now we're in 2023. We have a quarterback, Dakota Rain Prescott, drafted by the Cowboys. 2016.
Don't call that man by his whole name like you know him.
You don't know that man. Drafted by the Cowboys, 2016. Had a successful, crazy rookie season. Almost got. Well, I think he got. Didn't he get rookie of the year?
Yes, he did. Yep.
He got rookie of the year. So he beat out his team at Ezekiel and got rookie of the year. Now
he shouldn't have.
Fast forward,
Zeke should have won that award.
No, he shouldn't. Zeke definitely should have got it because he almost broke the record for rookie rushing yards. So fast forward to 2023 now. Cowboys. It's been over 25 years, 25 long years. We still have not gotten past first round of the playoffs. We do not have anything to show for what we would want to be called like America's team. We have nothing to show for it. You have teams like Eagles, Giants that have had better stretches than us over the past 10, 15 years. But what do we have to show for it now? We got a quarterback that bested Tony Romo, got the starting job from Tony Romo, had a good first 3 to 4 years, and then his last 4 years have been it's been like this. It's been good. He's had seasons where he threw like almost 5,000 yards, one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and he's had seasons where he's throwing out 15, 16 interceptions. So, for me personally, I think the Dak reign is almost coming to an end. And the only thing he has to show for it is an NFC East championship. That's nothing. I mean, there's nothing I can, he hasn't done anything for me to kind of congratulate or be, it's the same with Tony Romo. Tony Romo he's gonna be in the Cowboys Hall of Fame because of the yardage and everything he's done. He's gonna be in the Cowboys Ring of Honor, but he didn't do anything to kind of separate him from the greats, from being in the Hall of Fame. You can't be put in the Hall of Fame because you just got good yards, good stats, but you didn't get nothing from it. Nothing. You didn't change the game. You didn't do anything. Now I know I'm going on a tangent, but the Cowboys stink. Okay, they stink because number one, the defense. Micah Parsons didn't do a damn thing. Had 2 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 QB pressure. Nothing. If you got all this praise, everybody calling you 11 from heaven, Micah Parsons, the next Lawrence Taylor, you getting all this praise, but you're not doing a thing against the 49ers. That's a problem. Okay, and I don't care if they got the best offensive tackle in the league. That should be a matchup. You should at least get pressure. You can't be calling yourself the best this, the best that, or I'm compared to Lawrence Taylor, or I'm better than da-da-da, but you're not showing up on these key critical games. And then, what happened to the other 9 guys? The other 10 guys on the field? Dorian Armstrong, okay, Van Der Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence, we paid $100 million for you. Where you at, bud? What happened to you? Nothing. These guys did not do a thing on defense. And offense, you can't tell me you only can put up 10 points against the 49ers. That's crazy. Your offense is not good enough to put up at least 20 points. You can't get 20 points? You can't get 20 points. You can't go shot for shot with Brock fucking Purdy. And mind you, Brock Purdy is second year in the league. He's
he didn't even play
in the league.
And mind you, he didn't even play that much last year. He only started the end of the season for the folks unfamiliar.
Right. So he's still new to the game. So
hasn't played a full 17-game season to this point.
And it's still early in the season. Like Chris always says, it's still too early to tell. But I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys stink. All right? They stink. They're horrible when it comes to these type of games. And they're overinflated when it comes to hype. All right? Just like everybody says, the Cowboys are always going to be their own downfall. And I'm a Cowboys fan. I love them. But this is the stuff that people have been talking about. We come to key critical games. We can't even put up 17, 18 points, 20, 25 points against the 49ers team. It was a good team, a great team. But come on, guys. You can't go shot for shot with Brock Purdy, but you can go shot for shot with fucking Tom Brady a couple years ago. You went shot for shot with him, but you can't go shot for shot with fucking Brock Purdy? You're telling me the Cowboys receivers, you telling me none of them are good? You're telling me CeeDee Lamb is only worth 4 targets in a game? Are you serious?
Man, y'all got a lot of issues over there, man. Got a lot of issues over there.
Well, and I don't want to go off topic, but it's contract coming up for CeeDee Lamb, so you know what happens.
Coming up for a lot of boys,
yeah.
Man.
So a lot of times when it comes to contract time, it's either gonna be they're gonna try to justify you based on the season right now, not about what you've done in the past. So if he's coming up short, if he's not getting the catches that he needs, if he's not getting targeted, they're gonna be like, well, you're not worth the money that we want to pay you. If he's not getting those targets, which I think is gonna happen because they asked Jerry Jones specifically yesterday, how do you feel about the targets with CD? You think CD should get the ball more? You know what Jerry said? Jerry said, no, I think we should spread the ball more. So come on now, if that ain't a slight to this man, I don't know what is. And it's not like the Cowboys don't have receivers they can spread the ball to. They do. But that's your number one receiver. He should at least be getting over 10 targets a game. At least. Easy. At least 10 targets. Right? What he does with those 10 targets, that's between him and Dak. But at least 10 targets. You cannot say, I only got 4 targets. No, bro, 10 targets at least. So, I'm done with the Cowboys speaking about them.
Hey, listen, you can be done speaking about them. I'm not done. Bad news would not appreciate me. Bad news would not let me off the hook if I let you off the hook by allowing you to talk for 10 minutes straight about the Cowboys and not letting you know, or at least doubling down on your point. Because I'll give you credit that, yo, you guys are gassed. Like, and y'all do this to yourselves every year. So it's not even a secret or a surprise or something that's new, man. This is a repetitive cycle with you boys at this point, man. It's just like, we know who y'all are at this point, and nothing changes throughout. Listen, y'all are the reason that y'all are so talked about. Y'all are the reason that people even feed into the hype of y'all every single year. It's y'all who do it to yourselves. Because I don't think that the fan that's really in tune is picking the Cowboys ever, especially when we know who your quarterback is every single year. It's not going to change. Dak is going to be your quarterback. When we know who the coach is, it's Jerry Jones. It's Mike McCarthy, but it's Jerry Jones, and so we know what's going on. Jerry is running the whole operation. Mike McCarthy is calling plays this year. Y'all should have never got rid of Kellen Moore. Y'all had the number one scoring offense
I agree with you.
in the league for the past couple of years with Kellen Moore, and for some reason he's in LA with Justin Herbert now. Somehow he got a better job. It don't even make sense. But yo, listen. Y'all do it to yourselves every year because y'all buy into your own hype every year. For some reason, y'all gas yourselves up every year. Somehow, this year, it was about the defense. So y'all was supposed to have the number one defense in the league. You're talking about putting up at least 20 points against the 49ers. Let's keep in mind they scored 42 points. So 20 points wasn't getting it done. I need to see more from that defense because the fact that they scored 42 on y'all and they could have easily got 50. They could have easily got the 50 on y'all if they wanted to keep them starters in that game. They got the starters out by the beginning of the fourth quarter. So it's like, yo, y'all ain't there. And for some reason, y'all get put in the conversation every single year. Like, y'all get put in the conversation every single year. And what do y'all have, like you said, what do y'all have to show for it every single year? I mean, the numbers are great. Like, the numbers is cute and all that stuff. But, like, when it comes down to it, man, when it comes down to playing them top teams, them important teams, like you even bring up Brady and how y'all went shot for shot with Brady last year. Most people knew that team was cooked too. So it's like I can't even give you too many props for putting the GOAT down because at that point his team was cooked as well. So it's just like, man, I'm over the conversation about y'all being a contender. I'm over that conversation. And again, it's still early, like you said. Like I'm always going to lean on that. So anything can change. That's the commonality with every football season, every single year, is that things can change. That's how Brock Purdy got to where he at now, is because they had Trey Lance and then they had Jimmy G, and all of a sudden Brock Purdy starting, and now he's one of the favorites as far as an MVP candidate. With y'all, though, man, I think that y'all are your own worst enemy every single year, man. And whether it be the fan base as far as expectations, whether it be your quarterback in terms of underachieving, whether it be your ownership in terms of being too involved in everything. And we're going to have this conversation about somebody else too, but being so involved, having to be so a part of every single thing, not wanting to hire a general manager, wanting to be the person that picks every player and extends every contract. It's like, come on, man. Yo, y'all do this to yourselves every single year. I don't know where it goes from here, because at this point, I think that we've seen, and listen, like I just said, it's early. We've seen y'all against one of the better teams in the league now, though. So, it's, nobody can rule anybody out at this point in time in the year. Like, it's still a long season and a lot more games to be played. But I really wish that the expectation level would come down. Like, it's a week league. It's no reason we should be talking Super Bowl with the Cowboys at this point. It's no reason whatsoever. I think that conversation should be over. That shouldn't even. It should. Yo, I don't even want to hear about the history of the Cowboys because what do y'all have to show for the past the past almost 30 years? What do y'all have to show for the past 30 years other than newspaper clippings? Other than your own hype every single year, what do you have to show for it? It's a badly ran franchise. Like, it's a poorly ran franchise, and the fact that they worth so much money makes them worth the headlines. But man, like, when it comes to the product on the field, I mean, that's the thing, when it comes to the product on the field, who's really surprised? Like, that's the part where I get annoyed. Is, are we surprised? Like, y'all did have a number one receiver. You had Amari Cooper. You traded him. CeeDee Lamb is a good receiver. Y'all misuse him. You went and got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is a baller. What are you doing with him? And then you put all this stock into Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's supposed to be this dude. He don't even look like the same dude. So you bring up contracts. CeeDee Lamb needs a new contract. I think CeeDee's in his fourth year now. So yeah, CeeDee Lamb needs a new contract. Michael Parsons is going to be up pretty soon. Dak Prescott needs a new contract. So y'all got some work to do. And I don't want to do. I'm over the conversation. I don't need to have a conversation no more. Like, I've seen enough from y'all until y'all prove something other than this regular season stuff. Because at the end of the day, the regular season comes and goes every single year, man. We need real results, and y'all don't give no results when it comes to when it really matters. Y'all give zero results, and it's all cute, it's all good numbers every single year, but what's the show for it? As the guy on the other side, I want to know why my team isn't talked about more. Like, why do we spend so much time on the Cowboys? And like you said, y'all stink. Like, y'all aren't you guys are not a well-ran franchise. So why do we spend so much time on this stuff? And I know I'm spending just as much time as you. It's only because I'm an Eagles fan and I feel like I deserve this time. Other than that, man, I have nothing more to say about the Cowboys, man. Dak, another 3-interception game. He came into this season saying that he was not going to turn the ball over, and we got another 3-interception game. Defense, 42 points. Got ran all over again. And then I say got ran all over, but it wasn't even really a run-in type of game. It was a Brock Purdy just make you look bad type of game. I'm done. That's all I got, man. Cowboys fans, I don't listen. Just don't change the tune next week. I don't want to hear next week that you guys are back on the horse. You look good against the Chargers, man. You look really good. I'm done with it, man. Until we get to the postseason, if you guys make it to the postseason, because I think that's still up for debate at this point. I don't want to hear no more, man. Cowboys. I'm not even putting them on the biggest winners and losers for the rest of the year because I know what to expect, man. I know what to expect.
So you made some good points, though. You talked about, like, I like how you talked about, like, utilizing Brandon Cooks. Like, I agree with you. He should be utilized more. He should be put into a little bit different schemes. You know what I mean? They need to use him for his speed and elusivity in some type of manner. I agree with you on that one. I also agree with you talking about, the overinflation of the Cowboys. I do agree with that because it's like they just set themselves up for failure every year. Like, why are we talked about as much? And I know why. It's one of the best well-known franchises, one of the top franchises in the country, in the world, in regards to marketing and money. That franchise is the most expensive franchise. So I do know why. I know why it's something to talk about. I know why people talk about it. They would talk about the Cowboys if they was 1-16. They've talked about them when they was 4-12. So I know why. It's a money tactic. It's a marketing
So
tactic.
it's just, I was going to say, it's just a great marketing campaign then.
Yeah, it's marketing and it's money. Now, what I will say is, it's still early in the season. It's only been 5 games. So, can the Cowboys...
That's the beauty in the... Go ahead.
Listen,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you ask me, can the Cowboys turn it around? The question is yes. You made a good point. You made another good point. You made a lot of good points. You made another good point talking about Kellen Moore. Why was he ran out of there? Why do you think Mike McCarthy doesn't want to lose his job? Why do you think he was ran out of there? That's the only sense it makes. Mike McCarthy wanted to call plays again. I don't know why. You're the head coach. Focus on being the head coach. Focus on organizing who's doing calling defense. Who's going to focus on time management. That's what you focus on as the head coach. Time management. Do I have enough timeouts? Do I have enough challenges? What's going on here? What are we doing here? Blah, blah, blah. He wants to call plays now. Now you want to call plays. You don't even fucking look at the analytics, but you want to call plays. You don't even look at the analytics, but you want to call plays now. Great. So now you want to call your plays from when you was back in fucking Green Bay with old ass schemes. Think shit's gonna work. It's not gonna work. You got to change it up.
It's not gonna work.
You're gonna fix it. You got to do something, right? And you also talked about the contracts coming up. Now, I will say, if CD is playing the way he's playing, or they're targeting the way he's targeting, he's definitely not getting a contract, a negotiation or extension. He's probably most likely they're gonna let him go to free agency, release him, or do a trade with somebody. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I can
replace him with who?
Well, listen. What is the problem? I can see them most likely signing Micah Parsons to a long-term deal. Then, because you got to think about it, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's in his 8th, 9th season. He's almost out of here. So when he leaves, you're gonna need someone that still can be a formidable pass rusher. So Dan Quinn's gonna want someone to be a key name in that defense. So because DeMarcus Lawrence don't got that many years left. And then I agree with you. The Cowboys made a decision to let go of Amari Cooper. Do I think that was a smart decision? Absolutely not. Because when he got to Cleveland, he started balling. He was
fantasy
balling.
Team, yes sir.
He was balling. So they made a dumb decision because they never brought nobody to replace him in. They thought Michael Gallup's gonna come back. He's gonna be 100%. Michael Gallup hasn't had a 100-game season, and God knows how long. I mean, a 100-yard game. And God knows how long. It literally should be, from what I envision, you got CD as the 1, you got Brandon Cook as the 2, you got Michael Gallup as the 3. Those are your top receivers, right? Then you have what's the tight end's name? I forget his name.
Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, there you go. There you got Ferguson playing tight end. You got Brandon Cooks. You have to utilize Pollard. Yeah, you got to utilize these guys in a different way. Like I don't understand it.
Your quarterback is terrible. So you got this quarterback who's terrible, who can't get the ball to his playmakers. He can't throw the ball deep. He can't read a defense. He's in his 9th year, and he doesn't understand defenses enough to know where the linebacker is going to be in this certain coverage. He has no pre-snap awareness to know, this guy is motioning over, or this guy is moving over here. So he might be dropping back in coverage. It's almost as if he doesn't study the game enough to know what his opponent is going to be hitting him with. And so it's a lack of competency at the position. And then you add in a lack of competency at the head coaching position. So like you just alluded to, you calling stagnant plays. Your play calling has no creativeness to it. It has no type of rhythm to it. With football, it's all about game planning and scheming guys open and getting your quarterback into a rhythm. And your coach doesn't take the time to put any of that together. And so it's a recipe for disaster. I'm gonna let you finish, but it's a recipe for disaster.
I'll just say my last point, right? This game right here this next game is definitely gonna be something that, if the Cowboys lose to the Chargers, you might as well write them off for the season, because of the fact that you're going up against Kellen Moore and Herbert as the quarterback. You're going up against the former offensive coordinator and a new team with a new system. If he does well, if Kellen Moore does well with the Chargers and they skunk us out, Jerry Jones gonna do a lot of this, scratching his head like, well, what did I do? Why did I do that? Why did I allow Mike McCarthy to swindle me into making him the head coach and making him the play caller? Why did I allow that? And like I said, Jerry is a showman. Jerry is a personality more than life itself. He's definitely gonna play both sides to it. Like he said, when they asked him, do you think anything's gonna change with how Dallas is running? No, everything's gonna stay the same. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You just got blown out 42-10. Mike, you got Mike McCarthy talking about, this was a good smack in the mouth. No, this is a fucking slaughter. We got whipped. We you know what he should have said? We got our butts handed to us, and we got a lot to do. Like, yeah, we got a lot we need to work on. Like, and it's just, I'm just gonna do a comparison here. You got, and this is college and NFL, but you got Deion Sanders, first time head coach in a D1 school, saying that his team played bad, but they won the game, and he don't like the mediocrity. You got Mike McCarthy. Yeah, we got really humbled. No, you got slaughtered. Be honest. You got slaughtered. You weren't prepared for the game. You didn't know how they were going to come out. You be honest about it. Don't be fucking pussyfooting around. Excuse my language, but pussyfooting around and not being honest with the media and telling them we got embarrassed. This was a wake up call. We need to do better. And then my last point, you got Micah Parsons. I love Micah Parsons. You got Micah Parsons on his podcast talking about, yeah, George Kittle, he's had that F Dallas shirt on. It's going to be a problem when I see him. What happened? What happened at the game? Where was that energy at the game? What happened at the game? You could have easily got get back. You could have sacked Brock Purdy 4 times. You could have stopped the running back several times. You could have had at least 7-8 tackles. Where was the get back? You had ultimate authority to do it on Sunday. Where was that at? What happened? But you got the nerve to say it on a podcast the day after, talking about, yeah, if we see him next time, it's going to be a problem. Nah, we might not see him next time. That's the thing you don't understand. We're not going to see them next time. This is a one-time shot. Because we might not make it to the playoffs. So it's wild to me. It's bananas. But like you hinted to, there got to be some type of overhaul. There got to be something has to happen to make change in regards to the Cowboys. And if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be the demise of them. They've done it to themselves. Now, we got, and I know I keep going, but we got Trey Lance as the backup. And like I said, I envision what the Cowboys are going to do. I think he got 2 years left on his contract, $60 million on the contract. So the Cowboys can see if someone would pick up that $60 million.
He also has a no trade clause. Just for the record.
Really?
He has a no trade clause. Yes. Wow. So he gets to dictate wherever he goes.
Yeah, what a smart guy. Wow, what an asshole too. But yeah, I mean, then you're stuck with him for the 2 years until his contract is expired.
I mean, listen, they could trade him. They could trade him, but ultimately, like I said, wherever if it comes down to it, he's got to be on board with wherever they decide to send him to. So if he's not on board, it's not going down. So they're going to have to work with him regardless, figure out a good landing spot for him. Hopefully, they can figure something out.
And the last point, right? And I don't even remember when it was Tony's last season. Tony wasn't even going out this bad, man. I do not remember Tony going out this bad. I don't remember it. I don't recall Tony going out this bad. I do not recall it because he got injured. And I really think if Tony would have came back, and this is me being a little Skip Bayless, if Tony would have came back, I'm not saying Super Bowl. I'm not even saying playoff. I'm just saying probably would have been a better Cowboy team. But then again, how long would Tony have lasted? Because he was very injury prone. He was always getting injured. Like he always had some type of.
It wasn't happening.
Yeah, I get it. And then I look at with Dak, this motherfucker getting injured too. Now, and when you talked about he can't throw the long ball, and motherfucker fucked up his arm. Yeah, I haven't seen him throw. I haven't seen him throw a 50-yarder in God knows how long.
Bruh.
So I don't know if that's I don't know if that's in the past. I don't know if he's just going to continue dinking and ducking, 10 yards here, 15 yards here, 20 yards here. I don't know. what I know he need to stop doing is them nut ass warm ups that he be doing when he be doing that dance. He need to stop doing that. That doesn't do a damn thing. To open my hips up. No, it makes you look stupid.
Reminds me of physical therapy. Stop it.
I'm done. We can move on from the Cowboys. We can move on.
Yo, rest in peace. Say a prayer for them boys, man. Put them in the dirt. Leave them there. Don't dig them back up, man. I'm sure we'll revisit it later, though.
Yeah, probably, bro. But yeah, you can. I'll let you rock out with the winners and losers. Who you think? Pick your top 3 winners and losers.
Oh no, I got them written down right here. Trust and believe. So this was for me, for the winners and losers. This was a good one for me, especially for the winners because a couple of the teams anyway that I picked, I had been a little bit hard on previously, so it felt good to be able to give some people some credit for, turning their performances around. So I decided to go with Chicago first and foremost. They played on Thursday against Washington.
Oh, you gave them a lot last week.
Yeah,
a lot.
I was on them.
God, you was not letting up on them guys, bro.
I was on them, and it's crazy because I low key in a little narcissistic way felt like maybe that was the kick in the butt they needed. You know what I mean?
Maybe they caught the podcast. Maybe they was like, yo, we need to change it up.
Man, it wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? Because they came out on Thursday and they looked really good, man. Justin Fields, although his completion percentage wasn't very high, he only went 15 for 29. He still ended up having 282 yards passing. 4 touchdowns, 3 of them went to DJ Moore. He ended up rushing 11 times for 57 yards, and DJ Moore had 8 catches, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, listen, I touched on that previously with them. The reason why they brought DJ Moore in was for games like this, for Justin Fields to look like this, and so to see it come to fruition, for one game, it's their first win of the season, so it's still a lot to be desired there. You need some consistency, but it definitely was good to see them turn things around. Secondly, I decided to go with the Jets. And another team that we've been a little bit hard on, we've discussed on here previously. We talked about the maturation of Zach Wilson, and so I can appreciate to see that process come from Zach Wilson. They played a really close game with the Chiefs previously, and even though they lost, we just talked about that progression and seeing that progression from Zach. So for them to go out there against the Broncos, who obviously have been struggling this entire season, but with it being a very emotionally high game.
Out of here.
With the emotions being so high for this game, for the Jets, for Nathaniel Hackett going back to Denver to play the team that he was coaching last year. A lot of stuff was said this offseason by the Broncos head coach, Sean Payton. I told you I had words for you. It don't make no sense that he was so hard on Nathaniel Hackett and they're now 1-4. It's just not good enough. But so again, to see Zach Wilson and the Jets turn things around, but look like they're starting to turn things around and figure things out, was really dope to see. I'm happy that those guys was able to get a W, especially for Hackett. My last winner for the week was Jacksonville Jaguars. They went and played in London against the Buffalo Bills, and they won 25-20 against the Buffalo Bills. And it wasn't a crazy performance. Trevor Lawrence went 25-37, ended up having 315 yards, 1 passing touchdown. He did end up turning the ball over 3 times. Travis Etienne had 26 rushes for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Coley had him on fantasy, bro. That man had 53 points.
Ridiculous.
That's insane, dude.
Went absolutely crazy, man. Went absolutely crazy. Calvin really had himself a game as well. 7 receptions, 122 yards. The point is, though, that Buffalo came in on fire. Buffalo was hot, and they handled the Bills pretty well. So I think that they stepped up really well with Jacksonville. And right now they're number 1 in their division. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's getting in the swing of things for this season, so hopefully he can continue this trajectory. So yeah, those are my 3 winners this week.
Okay, I like them. I like them a lot. Tell me who your losers are. Who's your biggest losers? You said you weren't going to mention the Cowboys, so let's remind the audience that.
I said I wouldn't mention the Cowboys anymore after this week. Cowboys are my biggest loser this week. 42-10. Ultimately, like I said previously, another 3-interception performance from Dak Prescott. Your offense only gave you 10 points. It's just not good enough. It's never going to be good enough against the better teams in the league. And for some reason, it never gets any better. I'm just sick of it. But we've already gone there for ad nauseum at this point. My second biggest loser, could have been first, but they're second because the Cowboys are terrible. Is the New England Patriots, who ended up losing
second blowout of the season too.
Back to back blowout losses for the New England Patriots. They have not looked good the past 2 weeks, and this time they were playing the Saints, who I don't think anybody highly regards or has highly touted. And so for a team to be a Bill Belichick coach team to get blown out by 30 plus points 2 weeks in a row, it says a lot. I'm curious to see how they move forward with their program, because something isn't right over there in New England, and it hasn't been since Tom left. I think we all know that by now. And so I'm curious to see how they end up proceeding, especially at quarterback and at head coach. And finally, my last loser was the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota was a playoff team last year. They're now 1-4 on the season.
1-4?
1-4 on the season.
They've had four straight losses then.
Yeah, haven't been able to produce over the past month. Just lost Justin Jefferson.
My God.
He was put on injured reserve today, so going to be down without Justin Jefferson for at least 4 weeks. So all my fantasy people, make sure you tap into that. Make sure you get his replacement. Go ahead and draft Jordan. Go ahead and pick up Jordan Addison if you haven't picked him up already. Definitely got that boy. And then they talking about trading Kirk Cousins, man. I know it's probably going to be Kirk's last season in Minnesota. But the fact that they was a playoff team last year, Kirk's contracts have been guaranteed fully every single year that he's been in Minnesota. They haven't had much success since he's been there, and now they're probably going to end up giving up on him this year. It's just disappointing, especially with the way they were last year. I know it ended for them disappointing last year, but to see them losing the way they have the past month is, like I said, just disappointing. So, Vikings,
I'll
Patriots,
take him on the Cowboys.
You take Kirk?
I'll take Kirk right now. I'll take him right now. I'll take him right now.
All right, listen,
I'll take him right now.
Neither one of them boys. You can
I'll
keep
take him right now. Because I'm looking at it. I take Kirk Cousins right now.
Yo, his numbers are good. His numbers are good, man.
I take Kirk because I haven't seen Kirk have the disadvantages that Dak has when it comes to holding the ball for goddamn 30 minutes when you're trying to throw. Dak will hold the ball, and I've seen it, will hold the ball to make a big play happen, but he doesn't check his checkdowns. He doesn't check, because every quarterback knows where a checkdown is. Whether it's a running back doing like a little wheel route, or it's a running back coming out of pass block, or it's somebody on a slant, whatever the checkdown is. When he about to throw, he looks deep. Then it's all right. Look for the checkdown, and then he's like does a pump fake or does a spin move, lose 10 yards, fumble, whatever. And I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting sick of it.
Listen, him and Kirk, to me, they one and the same, man. They can't get it done in a big game at the end of the day. They both put up big numbers, but they empty calorie numbers, as my Uncle Shannon would say. So, listen, whether it be Kirk Cousins or whether it be Dak Prescott, man, y'all can get whoever y'all want at this point. Y'all need to start over. Y'all don't need to go get Kirk, man. Y'all need to tear it down and rebuild it, man. And it's okay. That's perfectly fine, because everybody has to do it. But yeah, listen, Kirk Cousins isn't coming there saving y'all no time soon.
Nah, I don't think so.
Who you got? You got anybody?
I'm just gonna give one winner and one loser. I'll give one. I'll give one. I'll give one winner. And okay. I'm gonna play a little. I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna give a win. I'm gonna say my win. I'm gonna give it to the Eagles. I'm gonna say the Eagles because they're 5-0. They beat the Rams, who I thought it was gonna give them a tough matchup, but they kind of proved that. So they're looking like the favorites for the NFC East. They did a really good job. I want to say with Jalen Hurts, 25 for 38, 303 yards, 1 touchdown. But he ran a lot, and I think that's what's going to be successful for you guys. The running, the read options, the play action, those are going to be your key critical plays that if you continue to utilize them effectively, I don't think anybody's touching that. Especially when you guys run that. What's that formation y'all like to run a lot?
Brotherly shove.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Full house formation, brotherly shove. I don't give a damn. But if you keep running that, it shouldn't be an issue. And I think him in tandem with DeAndre Swift, right? This is the first name, right?
Yeah,
so
back,
him in tandem with Swift is a match made to happen because they're both quick and elusive. And I think with the read option, with the play action, I think it's going to be a very tough team to really compare with. But the only team I can kind of compare with you guys is definitely Miami. That's like the only team I can compare with you guys when it comes to high-powered offense, because Miami's offense is crazy. And I'm not really sold on the Chiefs right now when it comes to if I'm gonna see them farther in the playoffs or how their record's gonna be out, because they've been scaring me. Like, they haven't been looking that good. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. They really haven't. Like, I haven't seen them be like the old Chiefs, putting up 25, 35 points, 40 points in a game, looking like they're dominating teams. It's just not. I'm not seeing it. So yeah, the Eagles for me. And then the Eagles defense as well is doing really well when it comes to, if the offense is performing well, the defense is going to perform well. If the defense can hold anybody under 20 points, Eagles are going to win the game. I mean, that's literally all they have to do. If they can hold them under 20 points, you guys are going to win the game, because your offense can produce a certain amount of yardage and a certain amount of first downs and a certain amount of points. Now, I will say, what the hell is happening with Devonta Smith? What's going on with him? Because, what do you mean? What do I mean? He's on my fantasy team. He's not giving me shit. What the hell? What do you mean? What's happening? He's not getting enough targets. Like, and I know, and I get it. The dude, Green or Brown?
AJ Brown.
Brown is the hot receiver right now. He got the hot hand. I get it. Damn near Goddard had the hot hand last game. But what I'm seeing is Devonta Smith, he's starting to kind of do like a turtle, and like he's starting to look like he's just not doing it as much now, because everybody else is getting the targets, and from what I seen, it wasn't what, last year he was number one receiver on the team? No, 2 years ago, right?
He had 2 years ago. He was our leading receiver. Last year, he led the team in catches. AJ led the team in yards and touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So they both was Pro Bowlers last year. Yeah,
so it's gonna be a lot of this. So,
hey, man, don't bring that Cowboys fan wishing demise on this man.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when's the last time we seen a team with two all-star receivers the whole season? To the point of
last year when we did it last year, they both had 1,000 yards receiving last year, so they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Okay. All right.
You know, it's. I think it's going to be week to week, man, and I think, unlike the Cowboys, I trust my coaches. I trust my coaching staff to put my players in the best positions to win. So, you know, if he got to sacrifice a game or two where maybe he's not targeted as much because somebody else is hot, it's all good, man. At the end of the day, you just want to put up a W, and once you get that W, you know, everything else gets everything feels better in a win. So I'm sure he don't like that he not getting targets, but it feels good in a win. You know what I mean?
I get all that, and then it's just hurting me in fantasy. I'm just saying that it's hurting me in fantasy.
I feel that. Who's your loser?
My loser is gonna be the Patriots. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's happening. I did want to kind of segue this into like talking about Bill Belichick's legacy. Like, are these last couple seasons without Tom Brady, is that gonna leave a stain on his resume? Is that gonna take him out of being one of the greatest coaches football has ever seen? Or is it something where one without the other, wouldn't have made the other's career? You know what I'm saying? Like, we get it. Tom Brady left. He got a Super Bowl. He won with the Bucs. But are we going to look at Bill Belichick as still that defensive innovator, that head coach that always got a scheme going on, a person that do your job? It comes from Bill Belichick. Are we going to hold him in less regard now with the past couple seasons he's been having without Tom Brady?
I mean, it depends on who you ask. I think some people are already doing that, truth be told. I think that, excuse me, I think that started already. I think that started as soon as Tom won that Super Bowl in Tampa. Like, as soon as he won that Super Bowl in Tampa, conversation was already going to start that, that he was the sauce behind it and that he was the reason that they were successful. At the end of the day, I don't think that they win any of those Super Bowls without the both of them. I think that they need both of them to get those Super Bowls. But I do think that Coach Belichick has been exposed in a lot of ways, and I think that he'd been getting exposed before Tom even left. I think that before Tom left, that you could already start to see some of the cracks or some of the chinks in the armor. And since he's been gone, it's only gone downhill since then, and it's appearing to only continuously snowball down. So I don't think it's going to affect him being looked at as one of the greatest coaches, but I do think that ultimately it just makes Tom Brady look that much greater in hindsight.
So let me pose this question to you. If you were Robert Kraft, how much more time would you give Bill Belichick? Would you give him another season? Would you be thinking about like, we might have to cut ties this season? What are you looking at as a regard of, okay, if my team can't make the playoffs and we're known to make playoffs every year, are we still keeping this coach?
I mean, I would so like the way I understand it is that Bill Belichick is the coach and he's like the general manager of the team too. So I would be open to still keeping him as the coach. I would definitely tell him that we was going to hire a general manager, somebody else to pick players and negotiate contracts and go shopping for free agents and scouting. And like I definitely would bring in a player personnel department that was be totally different from Bill's. Now, if he wasn't with that, then at that point we got to come to some tough decisions. You know what I mean? Because I can't let you hold my franchise hostage. In spite of all your previous success, in spite of everything that you've done for us, we pay you. I think people get paid based on what they're going to do, not based on what they've already done. You know what I mean? So I can't justify continuing to pay you if I'm just paying you for what you did, but you're not producing no results for me moving forward. So if he's down to give up the player personnel stuff and just coach, like just be our coach, put our players in the best position to win, come up with game plans and schemes every single week, I'm down with that. Let him continue to be our coach. Give him an opportunity to kind of right the ship with a new general manager in there, or maybe a fresh set of eyes. Maybe that adds a couple more years to it. But if that's not the case, then I think we've seen the last of it, man. I think we've seen the greatest of it and the last of it.
Okay, all right. And then, when I look at Bill Belichick, right, I try to formulate like a comparison, like who's comparable to him. And the only coach I can kind of think of, like NBA wise, I kind of think of like Greg Popovich.
Pop, yeah.
I think of his run with the Spurs, and I'm a Spurs fan. I think of his run with the Spurs, the championships he's had in the early 2000s, and even in the late 2000s, and even in the mid 2000s, 2014 was the last time. Like, same thing with Pop. He had Duncan, Ginobili, Parker. Now they're gone, and then he had Kawhi. He had Kawhi as well. Now they're gone. Even with Pop, like, was it you, or was it the formulation with those three guys? Now, but all three of those guys is Hall of Famers. So, it can be the same type of argument. And I think with Popovich and with Bill Belichick, the same thing. They just need that key player that's going to position them to that point of where we're back now.
Right,
Now,
right, definitely.
with Pop is they just got that one dude
Wemby.
Wemby, right? Now, is Wemby gonna be the second coming of like a Duncan David Robinson type where okay, he's gonna bring back the centerpiece of that team, similar to like Tom Brady. I have him now. I started him besides starting Drew Bledsoe when he was healthy. I said I'm gonna start this guy, and then 20 years later, they win 6-7 championships, and they're one of the greatest teams to have a run in history. So I say that to say this, like, I hope Bill Belichick still can continue coaching with the Patriots, similar to I hope Pop can still continue coaching with the Spurs until they're ready to say, I'm done. I want to be done this game. Because those guys kind of, in both respects of the game, they definitely changed the sport. And they've done a lot for the game, and I appreciate them both in that same respect. But okay, let's talk about something a little bit more serious now, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take it towards talking about the Israel and Palestine, topic. People haven't heard or haven't seen Palestine, the terrorist organization called Hamas, just released 5,000 rockets into Israel as a terrorist attack, and they've led troops on the ground, killing and murdering Israelis, taking some hostage, doing all sorts of terrorist attacks and taking people as hostages and those type of things. It's a very unsettling moment in our history, and it's something that has been going on. This conflict has been going on for years, right? And it's something that I don't think it's going to be fixed overnight. But if I could give the brief history of it real quick to kind of talk about it. So this kind of goes back to why did this happen, right? So if people are familiar with the Holocaust, which kind of happened during World War II, and it left about several million Jewish individuals kind of displaced. They didn't know where they wanted to be. They didn't know where they were going to go. Where are we going to put all these people? Where can they call home? Right.
Right.
So what happened? How did that happen? Well, it kind of happened because the UN proposed a partition plan in 1947, which recommended the division of Palestine, which is in between a little area in between Jordan, Egypt, Yemen, and Syria, and it's called like the Gaza Strip, right? That's the area that we're talking about, right? So they kind of came up with a plan to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration, and the plan was accepted, right? That was something that, okay, cool, we're going to have them in these areas. The Jewish individuals can come here. The Palestinians, we're going to put them here. We're going to put them there. And that's how it's going to be, right? The Palestinians kind of didn't have a say in the matter, right? It was something that just kind of got put onto them, right?
Right.
So if we continue on, the tension that was happening, right? So in 1948, you had the Arab-Israeli War, which upon Israel's declaration of independence, neighboring Arab states invaded, leading a war that it resulted in Israel's expansion and Palestinian displacement, known as Nakba, or catastrophe. So what happened there was the bordering Muslim states, Jordan, Egypt, Yemen, those states that border, wanted to stop that from happening. They didn't want the UN to come in and create this kind of Israeli state. They didn't want that to happen. That's something they didn't want to happen. So what caused that? It caused infighting. It caused tension, right?
Right.
Then we keep going to 1967, the Six-Day War, which is Israel's victory in the 1967 Six-Day War resulted in its occupation of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. further escalating the conflict. So what do we have now? 1967, we have Israel saying enough is enough. We're fighting back now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to allow these other Arab states in Palestine to gain control of the Gaza Strip. So now we're going to fight. So now they're fighting now. This is when Israel's finally taking control of that area. And we fast forward to early times now, 1993, we have the Oslo Accords, right? The Oslo Accords marked a breakthrough in peace negotiations, leading to limited Palestinian self-rule in parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. So that allowed the Palestinians to have a voice, right? It allowed them to have their own political entity to kind of negotiate these type of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we continue, right?
And that was the Oslo Accords, right?
Oslo Accords that happened in 1993, right?
Okay.
So if we continue, even till now, there's been conflict happening all this time, and with this attack, this terrorist attack, people forget to understand that Israel has one of the best militaries in the world.
Yeah.
They have one of the best intelligence agencies, the Mossad. So,
and before you continue, specifically about Hamas and the Oslo Accords, the way I gathered that through research is that they never acknowledged those accords.
right.
So they basically, throughout their existence or throughout this what was supposed to be sort of peacetime in terms of the Oslo Accords, Hamas still their number one objective was ultimately to destroy Israel.
Yeah, exactly. That's their number one goal is to do that. Now, I don't have a dog in this fight. We don't. Me and Chris, we don't. Don't come for us. We just explaining what's going on from our perspective, what we see. We don't have a dog in this fight. So please don't ask us who we side with.
Prayers and condolences to everybody.
Prayers and condolences to everybody and the victims and the innocent children, to all the parties involved. We ain't standing with nobody. All right? Now, what I will say is this type of conflict, it has a deep rooted history, and I don't think it's going to be solved overnight. But then piggybacking to what I said about the military, how did Israel's military not pick up this attack? How did it come as a surprise when you have the best technology and the best security forces in the world?
Right.
How is this a surprise? How is Hamas able to get ground troops coming into Israel and be able to have rockets flying in? How is that not picked up? How is that not? Now people are going to say, the Mossad and the Israel Defense Force, they're focused on cybersecurity and cybercrime. They're not focused on Hamas coming in and doing these type of things. They're focused on them doing cyber crimes and this, that, and the third. But that still doesn't make sense, because how can you just alienate a whole different type of terrorism that can happen? That's what I don't understand. That's what I need help kind of grasping, because I don't understand that part. But go ahead, bro. I talked enough. I focused on the historical aspect. Go ahead, give me your point. Give me your point of view on this.
I mean, like you said, I don't have a dog in the race. I genuinely just wish prayers and condolences to all parties involved, especially like you said, when you start hearing about women and children, innocent bystanders being slaughtered by the Hamas group, and then Israel obviously retaliating. This is an ugly situation, like you said, and it obviously isn't going to be something that gets resolved quickly. It's clear that these two forces are going to be at major war. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think the violence at any rate is going down by any means. And so you just pray for peace for everybody. Truth be told, I am curious, because you get into the history and the backstory of it, and the history of it is obvious, it's there. So it provides great context, but I still am curious as just to what initiated this now. Like, what made the Hamas group decide to initiate this weekend? When the tensions, like I said, have been there. It's not something that's new.
Right.
It's not as if there was a, I guess that's I guess maybe my curiosity is, was there a specific instance that Hamas is specifically looking at to say that this was their reason to go on the offensive at this specific time? Because like you said, if you know Israel's military capabilities, then it almost asks what's Hamas's ultimate intention here? Like, what are they ultimately trying to gain? Because I don't think victory is coming. Truth be told.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is they're a terrorist organization, right? So their ultimate goal, as you said, is to destroy Israel any way possible. So if that means infiltrating them, if that means sacrificing individuals, whatever that may be, they want to try to accomplish that goal. Now, being said, we can talk about our country and how they're involved in this and what our policy is when it comes to our foreign policy. And I'll just read you what our foreign policy is, right? Because I was I was looking at this the other day, right? So, and I'm gonna read you a snippet, right?
Okay.
So, United States foreign policy is a comprehensive approach to how the United States interacts with the rest of the world, including other countries, international organizations, and non-state actors. It encompasses a wide range of objectives and strategies, which can vary depending upon specific presidential administration and global services. However, there are several enduring principles and goals that have historically characterized U.S. foreign policy. So the goals are national security, so protecting our nation, right? A promotion of democracy and human rights, so helping individuals if promoting democracy, promoting the Western way, and also if there's any type of infringing upon human rights, we kind of got to step in, right?
Yeah.
Economic interests, right? The U.S. foreign, I got to read this one. U.S. foreign policy aims to protect and advance American economic interests such as trade agreements and open markets, right? Alliances and partnerships, maintaining and fostering international alliances like NATO and regional partnerships are essential for collective security and diplomatic effort. Then you have non-proliferation. The U.S. works to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. You got counterterrorism, and you got climate change. So that's our foreign policy. Those reasons there is when we have to step in when it comes to stuff happening outside of our soil on different grounds and pools. So the U.S. has a very high vested interest in Israel. That's their baby. They have a very a big interest in Israel, and they also, you got to think about it, Israel is the only country in the Middle East that has Western ideologies as well. So no other country has those Western ideologies similar to us in the Middle East like that. They're all Islamic countries that have a very a strong tie in Islam, and they run a different way in comparison to Israel. Israel is very similar to us. So our foreign policy kind of dictates, because we have an invested interest in Israel, that we have to assist them or send them money or whatever. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. So I get why we got to help Israel. I get that.
Do you think that they're going to need our assistance in this fight? I know that there's
they're gonna need our money. They're gonna need our money. Do they need Do they need us in general? Probably not, but they're gonna need our money. We've already sent them money. I think they sent them like $6 billion already. Wow. So we have a vested interest in there because Israel is in the Middle East. We have a lot of enemies in the Middle East. We have a vested interest in Israel. So the U.S. is going to stand by them because they have a vested interest in Israel. Because it's the location, to be honest. The location of where Israel is. It's right there in the Middle East. All those neighboring countries are not friends of America like that.
Right.
So
we need Israel.
It's just wild because our foreign policy is crazy. We have to step in when any of this stuff happens. So it's kind of do we need to step in when this stuff happens?
Do you disagree with us having to be involved in this?
Yeah, because with the I mean, if we have American lives on that soil, if there's Americans there, then I don't think we definitely need to step in because we got Americans there. Now,
Yeah, that's what I was. That was literally what I was going to ask you.
yeah,
Is
if we
with
have
there being
Americans
like
there,
American lives there, how does that
yeah,
impact our involvement?
then we should definitely help them and try to figure out what we need to do on that end. But in comparison to Ukraine and the Russia thing, we don't need to be in that.
Right.
We don't need.
Right.
We don't need to. There's nothing. What are we gaining from that? We're not getting a thing from that. There's nothing. There's nothing helping us from that. We're not getting any kickbacks from it. We're not. There's nothing benefiting us from that. So I don't understand why, because it doesn't really. There's nothing. I mean,
you said part of the foreign policy was to protect democratic interests, right?
Not promotion of democracy, but
right
alliances. I mean, is Ukraine an ally? Maybe, yeah, but do we really need to? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That to me is kind of fishy for us to be in that. But needless to say, I mean, with this Palestinian and Israel conflict, I mean, it's really a tough thing, man. Because if you put it in perspective, that's similar to like if we were living somewhere for so long, it was our land, and then out of nowhere they put 7 million people in our land and said, they're going to be living here. This is their land as well. You guys are going to be living there. You guys are going to have to coexist. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then there's war, and then there's famine, and then there's more wars. And then we win a war, they win a war. We lose a war, they lose a war. And it's always that. And it's never a time of peace, or there's always going to be dissension. And it's kind of like, shit. It's a messed up situation to be in for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the people who didn't ask for that. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you consider the Palestinians and their perspective of it all. They just there. You know what I mean? And they got to split their land with these other people based on this previous war that that they might not even been involved in. But it's sad to see. Like it's sad to see all the way around.
No, seriously.
And I know I said it before, but really, like I said, because we don't really have much of a, it's not like you wish bad for one side or the other. It's just like, you ultimately just wish for peace for everybody, man. I've been watching a lot of just like, a lot of like hostages, family members, like confessionals or just like interviews and stuff like that. And it's sad, man. It's sad to see any family have to try and adapt to these circumstances when your loved one might not even be from that country. They might not be even, that might not even be their homeland, and they might have just been visiting, or they might have been there for working purposes, and unfortunately now they're a hostage. You don't really, it's hard to get in the psychology of it, but you don't wish it on your worst. I personally don't wish it on my worst enemy. So
let me ask you this question: How do you feel about? And this might get a little messy with this one, but how do you feel about Black Lives Matter supporting Palestine, and then the LGBTQIA supporting Palestine as well?
Well, I mean, how do I feel about them supporting Palestine?
Like, do you care, or you kind of like, yo, bro? I mean, if they want to support them, that's on them. Like, how do you feel?
Based on, I mean, if we're talking about Hamas and their actions, I definitely wouldn't agree with either entity supporting Palestine at this point. We've seen what their actions are, especially being as though they're a terrorist organization, and it begs the question: why would Black Lives Matter, or why would the LGBTQIA whatever LGBTQ plus, why would they be leading or lending any support to Palestine? Why would that be? Like, what would be the vested interest in Black Lives Matter?
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure that out too, and I'm trying to figure out if you're a part. Is that a fact? If you look at the Black Lives Matter right now, they have a poster with the Palestinian flag and the Black Lives Matter saying like, we stand with you in this moment in time, and it's a picture of a dude like a terrorist dude jumping in like with the jumping out of a, I don't know, I don't even know what you call it, but jumping out of like a helicopter or whatever or something like that, and jumping into like the area that he's about to infiltrate. So
I mean, listen, man, when it comes to organizations like Black Lives Matter, I think that we've seen that they have vested interests in certain things, unfortunately. And so, you know, I'm not one of those people who, tries to take the validity of the work that they may or may not have done, away from them. But at the end of the day, all these organizations, all these entities have vested interests, outside of just doing the actual work that they promote. So, um, either entity, whether it be Black Lives Matter or the LGBTQ community, I don't know why they would lend support to either entity, but it's not justifiable.
yeah,
Especially even if, like I said, we're just speaking on the things that they've done previously or work that they've done previously. It doesn't justify supporting Palestine now. So
yeah,
it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Point blank. Period.
yeah, and I agree with you, and I think it's yet to come. We got to see how long this lasts, and to see how people kind of, are they going to stay with who they supported in the beginning, or are they going to stray from it? I really want to see what's going to happen and where the support is actually going to land, and really get more information as to what caused this terrorist attack from happening,
I'm so curious,
and
man.
what's gonna end with it. Is it gonna be a negotiation of some sort? Is Iran gonna step in and do some type of backdoor deal? Like, are the neighboring countries gonna try to assist? I really want to figure out how this is going to end, and what's gonna happen. Is it gonna be a ceasefire? What is gonna happen? Like, I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, like we both said, I don't think resolution is coming anytime soon, but I am very curious for the ultimate resolution, how it gets resolved, the whys behind it all, and just ultimately getting to the conclusion of this thing, man, getting to the conclusion of it all, and ultimately getting back to peace for everybody.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, and I think yeah, I think we that's the main goal, right? Figuring out a solution for some type of peace or some type of negotiation, and figuring out what happens, man. I mean, that's the best we can do. Like we said, disclaimer: we don't got a dog in this fight. We're not supporting anybody.
We wish
All we're doing
prayers,
is just
positivity to
trying to,
all.
yeah. All we're doing is just trying to understand and trying to get some type of, some type of validity as to what's going on. That's all we're trying to do. That's it. That's it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You got any closing things? Anything you want to hit the people with?
Oh no, no. I mean, just I did want to just give a little brief shout out to my lady, Shania. Um, I don't think I previously mentioned it, but Shania designed the logo for the podcast. So if you guys need any sort of logo designs, definitely hit her up. Make sure you also shop the Ami Candle Collection. Make sure you follow her on Instagram at Ami Collection or Ami Candle Collection. I appreciate you, babe. Thank you for all that you've done for the podcast, for us getting this podcast started. We appreciate you. That's kind of it for me. Other than just following us, obviously, we appreciate the support from everybody. We appreciate everybody tapping in with us, man. Definitely, if there is anything that you guys want us to talk about,
Yes,
anything that
yes,
you guys want us to cover, want us to give our opinions on, I know that we said all of these opinions are unsolicited, but we don't mind. We don't mind taking some solicited opinions. If you
yeah.
want to know what we think on certain topics, we more than happy to touch on certain things. But other than that, man, I listen. It's another great episode.
Yes, yes. Thank you guys for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and please share. And like Chris said, if you do guys have any opinions or anything like that, please let us know on our Instagrams, or like interact with us. You know what I mean? We definitely would love to hear what you guys think about the podcast and the episode. Leave comments so we can know. But with that being said, peace and love to y'all. We appreciate y'all. We out of here, man. And shout out to Shania. Thank you so much.
Think that's a wrap. Should be.